Hey guys, how are you? So we are on the quarantine and apparently I got bored enough to decide to record videos in English talking about Brazil and about my culture, and make the comparison between Brazil and England. So, if you're new here, my name is Thayse Barreto, okay? I already have another YouTube channel, but I'm not going to share here because there I just talk about my work. I'm a Brazilian lawyer, so that would be a little bit pointless to you because it's everything in Portuguese. And here I'm talking about Brazil to share my culture, to people understand more, and also to try to explain the difference from my point of view, from my experience between England and Brazil, okay? Because I was on London twice and I'm actually planning move out in December to there if everything goes okay with my plan, so why not? So okay, so let's talk about that, okay? Please, if you can, give me a like, share this video, okay, with your friends to allow people understand more about Brazil and about my culture and about the difference, sorry for my accent, between those two countries. I'm still practicing learning more English, so I hope that you can actually forgive my mistakes, okay? And subscribe here, okay? So let's talk about five things, okay, from my culture, from my Brazilian culture, at least from my experience on artist, okay, and five different points that I actually saw on England about the Brit culture, okay? Maybe I'm not right, maybe I'm wrong, okay? But it's just to make a comparison, okay? From my experience, okay? We are going to talk about personality, relationships, okay? And how we deal with strangers, okay? So, first one, a Brazilian always, in general, of course, you always can have exceptions to every rule. A Brazilian always will love coffee. Yeah, guys, Brazilians are completely obsessive for coffee. I mean, like, let's remember that I live in a tropical country, okay? So that actually means that it's really hot here and sunny. And on Northeast, that's more intense because, I mean, like, we don't have other seasons here, I swear. I mean, like, it's sun, okay, rain, sun. Sometimes you can have a sunny day, in the middle it will be cloud and will rain, and then the sun will show up again. It's completely crazy. So that means that a Brazilian is so addicted in coffee that sometimes you will see a Brazilian on the street under the sun in a hot day, completely sweat, drinking coffee. I mean, like, it's crazy. It's like our cocaine. We really love coffee, okay? And our coffee is really strong. The normal Brazilian coffee would be like the espresso on England. It's so crazy. Second point. We actually like to eat our own food a lot. It's not so common to see Brazilians eating food from other countries, you know? Even when a restaurant supposed to be from other country here in Brazil, they kind of adapt their food to the Brazilian taste, you know? So it's weird. Like sushi here in Brazil, it's completely different from the sushi on Japan, for example. I swear, a Japanese already told me that. So we love our own food. It's actually delicious, I can understand. And I mean, like, the most important meal to Brazilians, it's the lunch. I mean, like, we eat a lot on the lunch. What we usually eat? Beans, but not the English beans. No, no, no. That sweet thing. No, we cook with salt. Beans, rice, red meat, vegetables, and fries, for example. That's a very common, Brazilian lunch. We eat a lot. So when a Brazilian arrive in another country and that person don't see that on the lunch, that person will say, what's going on here? I need food. I don't want the sandwich on the lunchtime, That's actually interesting. So, third thing, Brazilians talk a lot. I swear. I mean, like, it's very common here. I mean, like, we are very open and friendly. So what that means? That means that you will see Brazilians talking a lot all the time, even with the strangers. I mean, like, when I was in London, I was on the top, I was with my Brazilian friends, we are like chatting blah 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 in Portuguese, and the Londoners were looking to us like, I could see they're actually judging us. It was interesting. So yeah, Brazilians talk a lot. I mean, like, we are so open that sometimes can be inconvenient. Like, sometimes you can be like on the bank line, for example, waiting, your time to solve your problem, and another Brazilian will keep chatting with you. She will tell you that she has 3 kids, that maybe her husband's not paying the aliments, that she's stressed with her relationship. She will share things and information that you're not interested about it. And sometimes she will try to know you, and she will keep making questions. That is actually what become so possible to a Brazilian know her boyfriend or her girlfriend on the streets, because we actually talk a lot. Okay, so that's the third point of our culture. The number 4 is that is very common. You see a lot of religious Brazilians, because I mean, like, on South America, the Christianism, maybe that's the word in English, was very strong. So that means that you will see a lot of Catholics, a lot of Protestants here, and when you come from Northeast, that is even more strong, So even when a Brazilian don't go to church a lot, that person usually believe on God. It's not common here. You see a lot of people that actually are agnostic or just atheist. Maybe that's a word in English. So it's not so common to see a lot of agnostic people, and oh my gosh, that's so hard to say in English. Atheist. Maybe that's the word. Please forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think that you understood my point, right? I mean, like, someone that don't have religious and someone that don't actually believe in God. That's not so common here. So even when the person don't go a lot to the church, she or he tend to believe in God, okay? And let's talk about relationships, okay? I mean, like, on Brazil, it's very common. You see people dating very young, and they actually get married young. I mean, like, what's my point? A guy with 33, 34, he usually already will be married, It's very common here. And I saw some difference outside. I saw a lot of people actually with like 37, 38, 40 single, on England. So that was actually interesting. And when you come from Northeast, that actually become worse. And to Brazilians, we are very, very, very present on the relationship. What's my point? I mean, like, I'm trying to explain, okay? At least how women deal with that from a perspective on artists. I mean, like, we text a lot, we like to chat a lot, we talk a lot, you know? So that means that if you have a boyfriend, you probably will talk with him every day. When the guy starts to not talk with you every day, that means that he's not interested anymore, or maybe he's cheating you. That's actually how Brazilians tend to think. Of course, that you always will have rules and exceptions, you know. I'm talking about my perspective here in João Pessoa, okay? Because you can see people acting different and dealing with different a lot, you know. But that means that we are very present, let's say that, on social medias, you know. Like Instagram, for example, it's a social media that Brazilians use more, and we kind of share a lot about our relationships on social media when we're dating someone. We talk a lot on WhatsApp, like chatting a lot, sending audio messages a lot, you know, to partners. We talk with them every day, you know, because we are very kind. We like to keep in touch, you know, so that's a very important point from my culture. And that actually means that usually Brazilians have that necessity, maybe that's the word, of be in a relationships. You know, we're very codependent. It's weird, but yeah, it's a real thing here, at least with women from Northeast. I mean, like, girls from Northeast, they're raised to settle down, get married, and have kids. You know, that's top. So that means that, yeah, sometimes you can have a good job, but if you don't have a good boyfriend or a good husband, you probably will not feel so good about your own self. That is weird because we're very connected with people, okay? And I saw things a little bit different in London, at least in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But I mean, like, my point is that, let's go to remember. Brazilians are very present on social medias, okay? Like Instagram, for example, and we like to share a lot about our relationships online. We like a lot to talk a lot online with our partners, like texting, calling, sending audio messages on WhatsApp. So if a Brazilian actually stopped to do that frequently, the Brazilian girl probably would think, he's not interested or he's cheating me. Something is wrong, because that's not how we deal with that, you know? We are very connected with each other. So that's a huge point in our culture. What also means that we dedicate a lot of our free time to our partners, you know? So, and yeah, I got confused because, I mean, like, I was not planning to talk about that. Actually, I remember now that I was planning to talk about another thing. But anyway, so that's actually how we deal with that, okay? So that's the Brazilian perspective, okay? Now let's talk about how I saw things in England. First, tea, please, that's horrible. Really, tea? That's such a cliche. Yeah, like Brazilians with coffee, but you got my point, right? So I hate tea. And the coffee on England, come on, that's so cool. I mean, like, I really like it in England, but the coffee, really bad. Unless that you're actually drinking a Nero, it's a good one, but let's remember that Nero is actually Italian, so. And the espresso is also good, but too much expensive. And they just put a small shot of espresso, so I mean, like, no one can actually keep affording that. It's expensive. Point number one, English actually seem like tea. It's weird. Point number two, you can see a lot of different food from different countries in London. that was so different from my city. I mean, like, it was amazing because you can try a lot of different stuff, you know? So that was actually interesting. And point number 3. No. Point number 2, yeah. Let's talk about food, yeah. Let's focus about your breakfast. I mean, like, English doesn't care a lot about lunch, in my opinion, you know? They just have sometimes a snack on the squares, you know? But your breakfast is very impacted. I mean, like, bacon's on the breakfast, beans on the breakfast with eggs. It's so weird, but it's also interesting. So I don't know. And I mean, like, beans that are kind of sweet, weird. But anyway. Point number 3. English people are very private and closet, at least in general. I mean, like, you will not see people in London talk with you on the streets, you know? When I was talking with them, they're like, what's wrong with her? That kind of stuff. But, I mean, like, for another point, guys can be very talkative in dates. I don't know about women, but I probably think that it's the same. And I mean, like, of course that you can find exceptions. I mean, like, my sister, she made a friendship with an English girl inside the tube when she was living in London. I mean, like, it was her last day and she became friends, you know? So they kept talking a lot about their relationships, their experience, and they also became friends. So that's actually cool. But in generally, English is seen to be more private, more close. They don't talk a lot in public with strangers, even more, I think. Point number 4. That was actually interesting. I mean, like, English sometimes they don't care with the others think. I mean, like, for example, I was in a pub and the girl came to me and said, "You can stay here if you don't buy a beer." And I got, what? Brazilian never would speak like that, you know? I mean, like, I don't think that she was being rude or rough. I think that she was just being pragmatic, you know? Like, just saying what she wanted to say because she wanted to solve a problem. Brazilians are not like that. We just keep walking around and around and around. Why? Because we care a lot about the other's opinions. So we don't want to hurt the other's feelings. I think that's how to explain that. So that means that a Brazilian would keep chatting. Would you like something? Can I help you? I mean, like, we can suggest this or that for you, you know, that kind of stuff. And on England, it was not like that. I thought that people were more direct, more pragmatic, you know? So that was actually interesting. I mean, like, it was impacted on the first moment, but it's also a good thing, you know? And let's talk too about relationships. I mean, like, I already talked about that about Brazilians, so why not? I don't know how English hybrid actually deal with relationships, but my experience and the experience that my Brazilian friends shared with me, it was like they can talk a lot in person, but they're not so communicative on social media. I mean, like, some friends told me, "Oh my gosh, he doesn't text me, he don't talk with me, he just answer when I text him, you know? And on person, he talks a lot, he chat a lot, it's weird, Thayse." And I actually saw that too with a few British, I had few dates. It was weird and also interesting. I mean, like, and let's talk about social medias. I mean, like, when you go to a Brazilian social media, you probably will see she with the boyfriend, she with the family, he with his kids, he alone, he with his mom, you know, and some Instagram from Brit people, it's not about that. I saw a lot of pictures from food and places. It was strange. And pictures, I mean, like, from someone that was not actually seeing that another person was taking the picture. It was weird. Like, oh, okay, I'm here on my phone and someone make a picture for me there, you know? It was strange, I think. But interesting, so why not? And yeah, I mean, like, you also will see a lot of people that actually single and they are not so young. I mean, like, people with 35, 36, 37 without kids, without partner. It was so common. I got so impressed because, I mean, like, here, of course, that you will see people divorced, people single, but in general, it's more common. You see people with those ages already trapped in a marriage or with kids, you know? So I actually thought that interesting. I mean, like, maybe I don't know if I'm wrong or right, but maybe people get more focused on work there or in doing other things or in hang out with their friends, you know? On Brazil, I think that Brazilians care a lot about relationships. That's actually why my family thinks sometimes that I'm the black sheep from my family because I got single for so long, so I don't know. So that was actually interesting, I think, you know, that difference. So maybe on the future I can actually record a new video talking again about the difference, you know, and about what I love in Brazil, what I love in England, what I don't like in Brazil, what I don't like in England. That actually would be a good video, I think. So anyway, people, I hope that you can understand a little bit about my culture and about the difference between Brazil and England from my perspective, okay? I hope that no one think that what I said was like offensive, because it's not. I was just sharing my experiences and my opinions about what I actually thought, okay? So please give me a like, share this video, subscribe here on this channel, and I see you on the next video. Bye!